Hi, welcome to the Craft Channel. My name's Corinne Bradd and I've got another great scrap fabric project for you. It's a patchwork quilted squishy pillow or cushion, and it's really nice and tactile because you've got a certain degree of top stitch quilting on this onto wadding before you put it in your pillow in it. And it's one of those things, I've got lots of odds and sods of fabric, I've got lots of odds and sods of wadding, and you think, well, what am I going to do? But if you can find enough coordinating colours, you can make something that's really quite attractive. Now, I've done another video demo showing you how you can turn your scraps of quilt wadding into larger size panels simply by zigzag stitching them together. If you grab yourself a piece of fabric, cut it down. This is a bit of hand-dyed shibori. Well, it was supposed to be shibori. It just looks a little bit tie-dye, actually. Fabric that I made ages ago and then never got around to using. So just pop a piece of fabric on top of your quilt wadding. Trim it more or less to size. And then if you set your machine to a slightly longer than normal stitch, so about 3.5mm, in a nice contrasting thread, you can then, if you can find your foot, you can then run a strange wavy line down the middle of it. And I wouldn't even bother securing your threads top and bottom because you're going to sew this together in a minute. And what you want to do is kind of follow the line of that first line of stitching, but then get a bit closer to it, get a little bit further away from it. So you've almost got an organic feel. So there you go. Lots of wavy lines, like a wave effect. And then as we've got to the edges, I've sort of torn them off, as it were, so that it's a completely freehand, abstract design. Now I'm just going to trim away the wadding from this. But then, if that kind of freeform isn't your cup of tea, there is no reason why you can't just run parallel lines. There's another bit of freeform there. Checks. As you can see, I quite like freeform. And then what you want to do is you want to sew them together. So here's a piece that I've started. And it helps if you lay it out on your mat to begin with, so you kind of know where things are going to be. And it helps also if you can block things together. You know, like if you make a patchwork quilt, you would normally, if you're just making a plain square patchwork quilt, you'd sew squares together in a pair, and then a pair of squares together to make a block of 4, and then 2 blocks of 4 together to make a block of 8, so that you're always matching up those lines. If you kind of adopt that attitude, that you're going to line up one bit with another bit, so you've got that bit there, and then you're going to line this bit up to that bit there, but Let's lose some of the blue and keep more of the yellow. So then I'm just going to trim off this bit of blue, trim off that little end of yellow, and then I just need a bit to bring that up to the same height as that one, so let's use this piece of grey. Trim that down. Oh, that's the worst bit of trimming in the world. Yep, that's about the same fit. Or in fact, should we have it? No, we'll have it that way. And quite often, I mean, you can spend hours planning the correct colour placement for a patchwork quilt, and I have spent hours before, you know, on a floor with pieces of fabric, moving them around so that nothing of a similar colour touched and everything looked quite even. Or you can just opt for this whole, let's get some bits of fabric, they look good together, let's just see what happens. And especially if you're just using scrap fabric and scrap wadding, I mean, you can make a whole quilt in this way. Because the wadding that I'm using here, because it's just a fine fibre wadding, it's not getting too bulky. So then you just make a quilt, and then you would back it with lining fabric, and bind it like you would any normal quilt. And it's a one-of-a-kind thing, which is especially good for kids' sleepovers, or if you're camping. You know, you don't want to take your best, most time-consuming quilt camping, or leave it in the garden for the kids to make a teepee out of, or something like that. So if you can make one that is just from waste fabric, quite quickly, and really quite effectively, so you can make a quilt, or say you can make a cushion cover. But what makes it so nice is that additional stitching, top stitching on it, that gives it that, you know, it's a really tactile material. I'm actually, I know it sounds ridiculous, I'm tempted to make a jacket like this. I don't know if I'd ever wear it, but it would look great hanging up. So I hope you like that. Another stash busting idea, ways to use up odd bits of fabric, and also ways to use up odd bits of wadding that are too big to throw away, but too small to do anything sensible with. Please come and see us again very, very soon. We love to hear your comments. Please subscribe if you get the opportunity as well, because then we can send you a notification when we've got a new demonstration coming up. And we tend to go live at 4 p.m. on a Thursday, UK time. So it'll be good to see you again. In the meantime, keep safe, and we'll see you soon. If you've been inspired to create, please share your makes with us in the comments section below. And if you've enjoyed videos by the Crafts channel, hit the like button. Want to see more of us? Then click subscribe. See you next time.